Okay, so I've got 6 of these petals, and I've made them by taking a square like this, cutting the side so that it curves around on both sides. So now it looks a little bit like, I guess it's sort of a bit like a leaf really. And then I'm just going to round that off at one end. Now if it's a bit asymmetrical, doesn't it really matter. Lots of things don't matter with these flowers because they're really imperfect little creations. They've kind of got a rustic kind of look about them. And you can see that see the contrasting colour on the back, which we're going to take advantage of when we make the petals. So first of all, I'm going to take my petal, pop it under the iron, and you can see my iron, it has a shot of steam, but it also has one of those Teflon covers so it doesn't stick. And now while it's nice and warm and damp, a little bit damp, I'm just going to scrunch it up like that. So I'm just sort of really torturing it. And again, there's no recipe, it's not perfection, isn't what we're aiming for. Now I'm just taking the edge and just giving it a little twist. Can you see my hand is twisting that? And then you can see that is the petal. Now I've been cheating a little bit. I made one that currently has the 3 inside petals, and I thought I was videoing and I wasn't, so I have to start again. So they're ready to go, and I've assembled this. These stamens are a little bit special. I found them I found them at the Bentley Market, as it happens, and I thought that I loved them so much I just bought them all because, of course, I had to be in control of them all. You've learnt something about me, the person there. Okay, so now across this goes your next one, and I've just scrabbled it up in my fingers, and then I'm just going to bunch it up, and then I'm going to give that tip bit a twist, because that way I get to see the back of the petal material from the front, and that gives them a little bit of dimension. Okay, so this is my final one. So, and the same thing applies with every flower that you make. You'll make either a Pac-Man or you can make a calyx, and you'll wrap the stem using a bit of florist tape, and that way you cover up all the naughty bits of wire and so on. And normally with the florist tape, I'll go down and then I'll go back up again just to really get a nice bit of thickness into that. That's looking good. I've got 3 more petals there, and I've got my flower that I've done with 3 petals. And what I've done is I've got the wire, which is wrapped up to a certain point. I've got the petal so that the thread comes just above the end of that white wire. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of my special Yoo-Hoo glue, which is loved and adored by all, and just pop the tip of the triangle on there, and then I'll wrap that securely. And because I've started with 3, I'm just going to put 1 extra petal between each of those 3 inside ones. So it's really, it's really building on skills that you already have in terms of the other flowers that you've assembled, the ones with the little wire down the centre. And for those of you who've used flower tools as well, it's very similar. So here's my last one. And we're just going to do a little dot of the Yoo-Hoo glue back in the jar. And in case you didn't already know, I use any kind of container like that so that the glue stands up, because if it doesn't, it'll dribble all over wherever it is. Now, that's the final one, and that's sitting reasonably well, but I have a special little thing I like to do. So I'm just going to wrap that, get away here. I'm going to wrap that down the stem, and I think I might just cut the excess, or it could break it, but I'm just going to cut the excess thread off and just wind that around just to make sure that everything holds together nice. Oh, get off. Having an argument with it now. Yeah, so just wrap that down, twist those together so that they all hold together, Now, one more little trick which I love to do. I've got a few jars. No, that's a tall jar. I might raise the camera a bit so that you can actually see what you're doing. So then I'll pop this in the jar, and I'm going to give it a bit of steam, and then I'm going to push it open so I can hold my hand flat on there for a little while, and that, I hope, will give the flower a little bit more glamour. Now later on I can put, so that's starting to look all right. Later on I can put my back on there, and I can make sure that there's a bit of glue holding it open, because you go to all that trouble. You don't want flowers that look like they've been closed all the time. Anyway, that is your final stage for making those flowers. The rest of it I'm sure you know how to do already.